Hi, it's Mike with AskTractorMike.com. Well, obviously, we got a little snow event last night. And those of you in the North Country say, well, that ain't no snow. We got about a 5 or 6 inch snowfall overnight, and it's going to get up in the 50s later on this week, so it's not going to be around long. But it gives me a chance to talk about snow removal. And I'm going to tell you today, I want your input. If you live in the North Country, I would really appreciate you making a comment at the end about what you use for snow removal. Because here's what I use for snow removal. In the Ozarks, we can get a big snow, but we normally don't. Normally a 5 or 6 inch snow is as big as we get. I think the biggest snow I've ever seen was 13 inches. And this is how we remove it. We drive a tractor with a straight blade angled down the driveway one way and back the other way, and we're done with our snow removal. And that's because the snow in this area is it's kind of a rare event, and this takes care of 98% of the snows we get. But now, those of you that live in the North Country, please put your input in the comments. I get questions all the time about snow removal, and I'm just not an expert on it, and I know some of you are, and I invite you, if you've invested in snow equipment, tell me where you live and what you bought, what works and what doesn't in the comments. And then anytime anybody asks me what's the best way to remove snow, I can tell them go to this video and look at the comments and you'll see. But the way I know I don't know much about snow is when I was getting this YouTube channel going, I was doing some freelance writing for some dealer magazines, Farm Equipment Magazine and Rural Lifestyle Dealer Magazine. And I wrote an article about snow removal, and I interviewed dealers from around the country, and I'll put a link in the description below. And it made me quickly realize I don't know a lot about snow removal. And I also realized what works in the Ozarks, where I live, and in Buffalo, New York, Cheyenne, Wyoming is totally different because the consistency of the snow is different. So I really think it's important, if you're giving advice on snow removal, to know the type of snow we're talking about and the type of equipment you use. But a couple of things I'll tell you about snow removal from experience. Number one, this is probably the most important. If your weatherman says there's possibility of snow, get that blade on the back of the tractor, get that snowblower mounted or the snow blade mounted before the snow comes in. I'd rather have to take it off if the weatherman is wrong than have to put it on when it's covered with snow and your fingers are cold and all of that. Second thing I'll tell you about doing snow removal, if you've got an asphalt driveway, and we do, I wouldn't have put it there, but the people that owned the place before me decided they needed it. If you can get down just a little bit on the asphalt, toward the asphalt, and the sun comes out, it can stay below freezing and still melt off a lot of the snow. The black absorbs heat from the sun, and it's amazing if you can just get down just a little bit toward the surface of the asphalt, how quickly it'll melt. If you got a gravel driveway, it's kind of the opposite is true. And one thing I'll tell you, I did a few years ago when we moved out here. We just moved to this area, and I had a tractor, and I was pretty proud of myself for having a tractor. We had an ice storm, just a little bit of an ice storm. It was kind of a frozen rain, sleet type event that put down that a coating of ice, and then the snow followed, and we got about 6 or 8 inches of snow. And so I got out with my tractor and bladed my driveway, and I thought, well, while I'm out here, I'm going to be a good neighbor to these folks I don't know around me, and I bladed everybody else's driveway too. Well, I had an asphalt driveway, they had gravel driveways, and I got down to the ice on their driveway and my driveway. And then it got really, really cold after that. And my driveway did melt off because of the asphalt. Sun came out and melted off the asphalt. Theirs did not. And then when it refroze over, they had like an ice skating rink, and I felt terrible. And every day when I'd go get the newspaper for the next couple of weeks, I watched my neighbors struggle with trying to get out. Oh my. So I highly recommend, if you're gonna be a good neighbor, go ask them if they want you to do that first, and make sure there's not a coat of ice down at the bottom. The other thing I'll tell you about blading snow is be kind of careful. If you're blading snow with a front blade or a loader bucket, If you have a change in the terrain, in other words, if you've got a place like I've got where the asphalt meets the driveway, and there's a little, the driveway part, the asphalt is a little bit lower. If you come into that and hit that, you can take a big chunk out of your driveway. With a loader, with something with hydraulic down pressure, maybe not down pressure, but resistance to keep it from jumping up over something that is a different level. With a rear-mounted three-point blade, your three-point does not have down pressure on the hydraulics. So if you hit a place, there's a good chance that blade will just jump over it. Now, it can, if it hits it right, take a chunk out of it, but normally it won't do that. So if you're trying to blade snow with a front-end loader, you might want to consider a poly edge to go on the lip of the loader to try to protect asphalt and concrete that's different levels. And I actually sell, for the smaller Kubotas, I sell a straight edge on my website that'll bolt right on some of the smaller Kubotas and give you protection for your asphalt driveway if you're doing snow removal with it. But they also make bigger ones that you can drill out and put on your loader bucket, and I've considered doing that. But if you're using a rear blade like what I do, you don't have to worry about that because you've just got gravity down on that blade. Now, some of you got float on your loader. If you've got float, put it in float and let it skim over. But a loader bucket's really not the best thing to remove snow because it'll push a bunch forward and then let it come out the sides, and you've got to contend with that. But I think a rear blade is a better way of moving snow. But in some parts of the country, you need a snowblower because if snow is fluffy and you have wind, you want to get it as far away from your driveway as you can. And other parts of the country, it's just you have heavy snows, you need a bigger tractor. Some of you have asked me about putting chains on tractor tires. I know a lot of people do that. Again, I've never done it, so I'd really invite you to put that in the comments below. So long and the short of it, if you've got experience with snow removal, if you live or have lived in the North Country, and you would share that experience, tell us where you lived, what kind of snow, and what kind of equipment, brand and type of equipment, snowblower, front blade, a pickup mounted blade. What did you use for snow removal and how did that work? And did you have chains on your equipment? Was that required? And put that all down below. And then I get a ton of mail from folks every year that are asking me, how do I do snow removal? And I really don't know, but I can direct you to this video and send you a link and let you watch this video and then read all the comments below. It'll be kind of like a little mini forum for people that are concerned about snow removal. But around here, all we do is go down the driveway with the blade angled one way and come back with it the other way, and that gets rid of 99% of our snow that we have in this area, and it works good. I did a video a few years ago. The UPS man was stuck sideways in my driveway and he wanted me to hook a chain on my tractor and pull him out, and I thought he was trying to kill me. Here's a link to that video, and here's another video you might want to watch, and here's a link to my website with the Tractor Fun Store where those poly edges are for small Kubota tractors. You might want to check them out. Thanks for watching.